Zoom session, which is how we run our meetings. In the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a mute button. If you are not speaking, please use this so you don't interrupt the speakers. Next, you'll see a stop video. You'll want to use this if you're going to leave your computer for any reason or have a snack. But when you return to your computer, please share videos so we can see your lovely smiles. Next, we have a chat box. Once you click on this chat, it'll open the window where you can chat to the entire room, or by clicking on this down arrow, you can choose a specific person. So you can send a note to one of the speakers saying something that you really enjoyed about their speech, or something that you saw that you think that could make their speech even better next time. And of course, it is our policy that participating in our meeting, you agree that recording will be available publicly on our YouTube channel, website, and other public media. So I'd like to welcome you all again to our competitive communicators, and we're waiting for our President Aaron to join us, which it looks like he is. I will now turn the meeting over to our President, Aaron Long.
Thank you very much, fellow Toastmasters and most distinguished guests. My name is Aaron. I'm the president of this club. You're seeing me in a very black screen because it's very dark here. It's in the morning, and that's why you need to have a better lighting. So just like what I'm doing right now, I'm going to shine myself light in this room. So we always have this tradition to get connected with our members by letting them introducing themselves, where they're from, and one thing about themselves, just one item. We just need one adjective, one item that you want to share with us to let us know more about you. So first of all, may I welcome William up the stage to introduce himself?
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is William Thomas. I'm from Hollywood, Florida. One thing you want to know about me is I love animals. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. In online world, we have two different hand signals. The first one is waving. Waving means that we're actually doing implied pausing, clapping. So basically, if we are going to do a practice round, raise our hand and just shake a bit. We are doing a support, virtual support online. It's just like replacing a clapping. The second one is by doing this. This is basically if you cannot hear the person on mute, then you actually have to remind that person that basically, look, unmute yourself, and then we can continue the conversation. So these are the two basic gestures we do online. The next person I would like to introduce up the stage would be Matt. Yeah, welcome Matt up the stage, please.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, my name is Matt Smittle. I live in Georgia. William may love animals, but I love coffee. I love all types of coffee. Mr. President.
Thank you very much, so Matt. Okay. And next, can I welcome Nick up the stage, please?
Oh, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. My name is Nick Lakhani. I reside in Manchester in England, where it's currently 5 to midnight. But we're having fun, right? Excuse me. I have a couple of bits of news. I'm actually just been elected area director yesterday of my area, so I'm really happy with that. And one word to describe me, energetic. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Bill. Next, can I welcome Natini up the stage?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Natani Pete. I'm from Shiprock, New Mexico. First time here. I enjoy sports, all kinds of sports. Football, basketball, baseball, everything.
Thank you very much. Next, can I welcome Adrian?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm Adrian, and what word to describe me is, I would say bright, because I enjoy bright skies, bright rainbows, bright flowers, bright light. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Next, can I welcome Isabel?
Hi everyone, I'm Isabel from Attica City, Maryland. Well, I have a preference of being told the truth. So sometimes, even though truth may not sound that nice, but I still love telling the truth and receiving the truth. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Next, can I welcome Tricia?
Hello, I'm Trisha. I live near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which is a very historical town. And one thing I love, too many things. I love Competitive Communicators, my very first online club. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Next, can I welcome Dana J? Yeah. Apologies.
Hi, good morning. This is Jay Parkey from Bangalore, India. In one word, I would like to describe myself as erudite learner. Learning never ends for me. I keep learning. Currently doing my second path into the level 4 and preparing for a speech on Friday in my physical club, which is to deal with difficult audiences. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. President.
Applause. Thank you very much, Dana, for sharing. Next, can I welcome our friend from Digital Transformation, Sai?
Welcome to everybody. My name is Sai Vaitiswaran. I live in Bellevue, Washington. And the one thing that describes me is I am very authentic. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, though. Finally, can I welcome Rainy up the stage? Rainy, are you there?
Yes, hello everyone.
Hi,
My name is Rainy and I'm from China. Well, I love all kinds of interesting things. And one of my favorite is playing computer games. So if anyone here who loves to play computer games as well, maybe we can play together. And I play very well.
Thank you very much, though. So finally, my name is Aaron. I'm from Hong Kong, and thinking about one thing that really sparkles me is that I always wake up very early for Competitive Communicators. So it's a very different time zone for me. So yeah, so that is one thing that you might want to know about me. We are all connected worldwide because we are with one class to compete with ourselves. So that's also our motto in Toastmasters. And hopefully you have to enjoy your stay in our club. So it's very important that in Competitive Communicators, we follow the Toastmaster meetings, flow downs, and we do have a set of exciting speeches, and most importantly, a person that will lead the way of an exciting meeting. So do you want to know who that person is? Drum roll? No, someone's shaking his head. The person that's going to lead this meeting is someone that's very charismatic. He won his DTM, and most importantly, he's some guy that really charms me up in the way that I want to aim to be like him because I never get my DTM. So I'm following Matt in his way of leading his Toastmaster of the day. Give a round of applause for Matt, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome Toastmasters and welcome guests. I will be the Toastmaster this evening. Every Toastmaster meeting in the world has 3 main parts to it. There's the prepared speeches, impromptu speaking, which is also called table topics, and speech evaluations. And we'll be going through those 3 main things tonight. Before I get into things, I would like to call upon William Thomas to give us our inspiration for this evening. Toastmaster William Thomas.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thought of the day. life is what you achieve, what you celebrate, and what is the brightness of our life. So, fellow Toastmasters, always achieve, 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 achieve. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas. The theme of our meeting tonight is National Peanut Butter Month. Throughout the meeting, I will be giving some facts about peanut butter, but I have a disclaimer. Some of the facts I give may not be true. I found them on the internet, but just because you find something on the internet, that may not make it true. For example, according to a peanut butter site, men like chunky peanut butter more, and women and children like smooth peanut butter more. I don't know if that's true, but it came from a site about peanut butter. Let me go through some of our roles tonight. I have many helpers that will be assisting me with the meeting tonight. The first helper I would like to call upon is our counter Toastmaster, Trisha Grow. If you can describe your duties as counter.
Yes, thank you very much. As a counter, it's my job to listen for your unnecessary enjointers, such as and. It could be like, it could be you know, whatever you tend to use as your crutch, instead of just pausing, taking a breath, and reordering your mind as to what you want to say next. So I will be counting those and making a report at the end of the evening. Back to you.
Thank you, Madam Counter. My next helper is our grammarian, Toastmaster Rainy Ding.
Hello everyone, I'm today's grammarian, and today our topic is something about food. So I have a word for food as well, and the word of the day is palatable. If you describe a food or drink as palatable, it means that it tastes pleasant. Like for peanut, many people would think it is palatable. So you can say that peanut is very palatable. And also you can describe it you can use it to describe an idea or method, means it is agreeable or acceptable. For example, many people love white lies because the truth, as always, is slightly less palatable. So this is the word of the day. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian. Did you know that 800 million is spent on peanut butter in 1 year? That's what I found out. My next helper, Toastmaster William Thomas, is our body language monitor.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. As your body language monitor, I will be looking for good body movement and body gestures. Some of the good body movements are using your hands to signal when you want to add something to your speech. Bad body movement, hands in the pocket, hands like this. Or, as some people like to do, hands behind the back. And I will give a report to the Toastmaster of these violations when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Body Language Monitor. Our chat monitor this evening is Toastmaster Adrian Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As chat monitor, I will be watching and monitoring the chat, specifically looking for any questions from fellow guests or other Toastmasters, and provide a report at the end of our meeting. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Chat Monitor. Our timer tonight is Toastmaster Nick Lacani.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Normally, when we have prepared speeches, we have times available. So today's prepared speeches, Trisha is going to be 5 to 7 minutes, and William is going to be 7 to 9 minutes. Now, what that means is, on the first time, I'm going to put that. So for Trisha, 5 minutes. I'm going to put that up, the green, on the screen. Then at 6 minutes, it'll be yellow or amber, and then on 7 minutes, it's going to be red. What that means is you have 30 seconds or less to wrap up your speech and finish. Otherwise, you won't be able to be voted for. So the prepared speeches are 5 to 7 minutes, and 7 to 9 minutes. Now, some of you are going to be called for table topics, and what the time for that is going to be 1 to 2 minutes, so that green is going to be on 1 minute, then at 1 minute 30, it's going to be amber, and at 2 minutes, it's going to be red. So just watch out for the timer, pin me if you want, or make sure you can see me somewhere, and make sure you talk within time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. We'll now begin our speaking portion, but before I do, I just have to share a couple facts about peanut butter. There's a jar of peanut butter in 75% of American homes. And if we were to spread the peanut butter, all the peanut butter that we eat in 1 year, Americans eat in 1 year, if we were to spread it out, it would cover the floor of the Grand Canyon, supposedly, according to this peanut butter site. Okay, we'll now begin our speaking portion tonight. We have 2 speakers tonight. Our first speaker tonight is Toastmaster Trisha Grow. She will be speaking from the Dynamic Leadership Path. She will be doing Level 3, Increasing Knowledge, Connect with Storytelling. Trisha is working on this speech. She hopes to use it for next year's speech contest for a chance to go to Paris. And the title of her speech is Living Life Backwards. Please welcome to the virtual lectern Toastmaster Trisha Grow.
Thank you so much. Have you ever felt that you were fighting against the grain? You're going the complete opposite direction everyone else is, just going completely backwards? Well, I know I have felt like this most of my life, and I think it all began with my birth. Picture it. It's October 6, 1971. My father's sitting down in his chair watching the baseball game. It's the World Series. This is very important week-long events to figure out who's going to be the world champion of U.S. champion of baseball. My mother, Patricia, runs into the room, shakes his shoulders. David, it's time. My father's like, I haven't even gotten to the third stage. Let me finish watching the game. So my mom comes back and, David, it's time for the baby. We have to go to the hospital. So he finally gets up and takes my mom to the hospital. Well, many hours later, I finally decide to grace the world with my presence. But I can't come out like just every other baby. No. I came into this world backwards. Yes, I was a breech baby. And as I stated earlier, I tend to live my life this way for quite some time. I'm going to fast forward a bit. I entered kindergarten. I got to meet other 5-year-olds, got to start learning my colors and my ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. At the end of the year, my teacher approached my parents. Just don't think that Trisha's ready to go into first grade. She's too quiet. She's too shy. She doesn't speak up in class. I'm going to hold her back. Do you know what this means? You now know someone who managed to fail kindergarten. Failed kindergarten. Now you know it's an accomplishable feat. And I did it. Failed kindergarten, people. In any case, this was a setback. And I continued to struggle through school. Year after year, I just couldn't understand. Well, my other friends were doing fine, but I struggled to do well. Even though I did my homework and I studied, my grades just didn't show it. And I was told by my teachers, Trisha, you're just very slow. You don't seem to understand. By my parents, Trisha, you're just lazy. You don't study enough. And even my fellow classmates would say, Trisha, you're stupid. So I was told this over and over again. Till I finally, in 5th grade, which I managed to fail as well, I was found out what my problem was all this time. He did some testing on me, and I found out that I was dyslexic. Dyslexia is a special learning disability where you see things somewhat differently than other people. In my case, I saw words backwards. So you might see cat as C-A-T. I saw cat as T-A-C. Now, still meant cat, but I saw it differently. I saw it backwards. And this is where all my learning disability or my learning problems were coming from, is because I was learning things completely backwards than everyone else. And that's why I was having such a hard time. Once they declared that this was my issue, we learned I could study a whole nother way with a special tutor. And I was not only able to continue through school, I flourished. I finished high school and went on to college. And I love to read. I don't know if this is true for every person who has dyslexia, but for me, it gave me a superpower. My superpower is I am a speed reader, because it doesn't matter that I read backwards. My brain still can function and read the words either way. I can finish a very large book in a day, maybe 2. My husband laughs at me all the time. He's like, can I time you? How many seconds does it take you to read this particular page? So, although it was hard for me in the beginning of my life, now is actually a very good superpower to have, is to be able to read backwards, because I can read much faster than normal people. So why am I sharing this story with you? You most likely were not born backwards. You most likely weren't a breech baby. And you might not have a learning disability. You might not be able to see things backwards like myself. But I guarantee you that there's something in your life, somewhere that you could use or do something that would make your life even better. Maybe it's a hobby that you want to explore. Maybe it's a subject matter such as learning another language. What I would suggest to you is to reach out to someone who already knows how to do this. Maybe you want to find somebody who speaks Mandarin and how to help you learn this language so you can bridge a gap. Maybe you want to learn crochet. You can go online and actually teach yourself, or find a friend who knows how to do it. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can reach out to somebody who knows how to do this thing that you want to be able to do, you will be able to turn your life around. And just imagine what you'll be able to do once you face forward and not backwards. Back to you.
Mr. Timer, please set the timer for 1 minute so we can send comments either publicly or privately to Toastmaster Trisha Grow. Thank you, Mr. Timer. Our second speaker tonight is Toastmaster William Thomas. He will be speaking from the advanced manual, which was part of our old program. He will be speaking from the storytelling advanced manual. He will be doing the first project, the folktale. The timing for his speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Tonight, William will be telling us a true story, and the title of his speech is, Who Are You? Please welcome Toastmaster William Thomas.
I think he might have dropped off.
Yes, I don't see him here. So we can go into table topics and backtrack maybe?
Yep, you can.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some time for table topics, maybe 10 minutes. Our table topics master tonight is Toastmaster Nick Lacani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Not only will I be actually asking the questions for table topics, I'm also going to be timing you. So you better watch out. Now, nobody knows who I'm going to ask yet. I'm going to ask my first question. It's Peanut Butter Appreciation Month. Anyway, I'm going to talk about cooking and baking. So, what happened when you tried to cook for the first time? I'm going to ask one of our guests, Natani. Tell us what happened when you tried to cook for the first time.
Oh my gosh, wasn't prepared to speak. First time I cooked, and from what I remember, I was cooking pancakes. My parents were showing me how to cook it. It didn't go so well. They told me to sit there and watch those bubbles. That's when it's done, and keep checking it, make sure it's done, and flip that thing. So when I tried to flip that pancake, I mean, it like flipped in half and stuff went all over the place. It wasn't good at all. So that's my first memory of ever trying to actually cook. I don't really know if it was cooking. I guess I was more along preparing.
Okay.
Thanks.
Just tell us a little bit more about what you cooked today, perhaps.
I'm ready,
Today?
guys. I just called in.
That's okay, William. Just take 5 for a minute. Natani speaking, okay? Natani, what do
Okay.
you cook nowadays?
Nowadays, well, I'm not much of a chef. I don't really cook too well. I went from I never really cooked. My wife does most of the cooking. I can make a ramen noodle here and there. I went through school. My mother cooked. I got out. I went to the military. The chow hall cooked for me there for like 6-7 years. I met my wife, and then she started cooking. So I've never really cooked much. I make a bowl of cereal, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's about the extent of my cooking. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very good effort. Very good effort. Okay. Mr. Toastmaster, what would you like to do? Do you want to crack on with the speech?
Yes, I'll go ahead and introduce William now. William, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
I am here.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you now. Again, Toastmaster William Thomas. He's speaking from the Advanced Manual, Storytelling Manual. He will be doing project number 1, storytelling. The time of his speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Tonight, William will be telling us a true story, and the title of his speech is, Who Are You? Please welcome William Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm going to share a story with you that was very true. 5 years ago, I got a phone call from a hotline, from the child abuse hotline. A kid was being abused by his mom. She was taking cigarettes and burning him. Ah! Ah! The child was being burned alive. Just imagine cigarette, flesh, heat, flesh. It was such excruciating pain. When I got this call, I responded right away. And I removed this child from their parents' house. This child was begging me, please, please, take me away from here, take me away from here. I could not understand how a parent could abuse their own children, how a parent could smack, punch, kick, or slap their child. But this was the case I was given. And this was my very first case as a guardian ad litem. In fact, that child today is flourishing. He is flourishing like a flower that absorbs the sun. He is learning better than he ever learned before. His parents was always calling him stupid, moron, idiotic. You can't do anything right. And I talked to this child and I said, you are not stupid. You are not a moron. You're not an idiot. You're special. Each and every one of us is special. Each and every one of us has a dream, a life to live. And that child deserves no different. That child's in the 4th grade now, flourishing with other kids. When I first got this case, he was afraid to even walk up to me. He was afraid to even hold my hand. He was even afraid to hug me. He was afraid of human contact because of what his parents did to him. Fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, how many of you have seen a case like this? How many of you have seen a child that is crying out for help? A child who is begging on their hands and knees, saying, help me, help me, help me. How many of you, if you heard that cry, would respond? I'm sure most of you would, because that's the innate nature in every human being. We always want to help someone else. We always want to be that guardian angel. We always want to be that shining star in the sky. Fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, let me ask you something. If you were in my place, what would you have done? What would you have done? I was crying when I saw this kid. The pain I saw in his eyes. The cigarette burns I saw in his arms. The horror stories this kid told me. He had gone 4 days without eating a single piece of bread. He had nothing to eat for 4 single days. I took him to the shelter and I fed him. And I got him clothing. He was afraid of me coming near him. But as he got to know me, as I shared my experiences with this child, he felt a little more comfortable with me, and he let me come a little closer. Finally, I won his trust, and he came up in court and hugged me. Now imagine that, being hugged by a child who has been abused, a child who's been neglected, a child who has been neglected by a parent. Let me tell you, one of the things I wanted to do when I saw this child, I personally wanted to beat the living daylights out of that mother. I really did, my fellow Toastmasters. It took every bit of ounce of my strength, took every bit of ounce of my courage, took every bit of ounce of energy in my body to stop me from wanting to hurt this woman. I wanted to inflict the pain that she inflicted on this innocent child. This child deserves nothing but love. And how do you show love to a child? By hugging, by being there. Who am I? I am an angel. Who are you? Will you be an angel too? Will you help in a time of need? Will you support in a time of need? Will you heal in a time of need? My fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, I want to leave you with this one thing. Will you be the sweeping change, or will you just let life for these children go by without a single hand? Mr. Toastmaster.
Mr. Timer, please set the timer for 1 minute so we can write comments to William, which he will not see.
That's okay.
We can, maybe you can save the chat. Is there a way to do that on the phone? Who knows? We could save the chat for him, maybe.
I think that's normally the Toastmaster's job on the day.
To save the chat? I saved the chat once and I couldn't find where it went.
Look under users on your C drive.
Oh, on my laptop? Oh. Thank you, Mr. Timer. We're going to go back to table topics shortly, but before we do, I have to tell you that the average child will eat 1,500 peanut butter sandwiches by the time they graduate high school. Okay, who's ready for more table topics? Let's go back to our table topics master, Toastmaster Nick Lacani.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Table topics part 2. The next question is, what do you put on your snacks or food to make them more palatable? This goes to Jay.
Table topic master, thank you. What goes on my toast in the morning? 3 things. I love cinnamon. I also love white and black pepper, apart from the rock salt. But what takes the cake is peanut butter. I know I'm going to live until I die. Had 2 heart attacks already. So, but everything in between for me is peanut butter. I so love peanut butter. And to tell you the truth, a man can live not with just bread alone. He needs to have peanut butter. Now that's the spice of life, and it's the glue. While you can add various spices to keep your palate good, tasting good, but what keeps the glue is peanut butter. In life also, my friends, we have to be like peanut butter. We at Toastmasters, I have seen in last 6-7 months, are such a glue in terms of our networking. We network together. We come together at different odd times just to get a flair and a flavor. I love this international flair. And that's the reason I wake up at 3 in the morning, prepare to attend this session. Even while I'm walking, I would maybe stop by and take 2 minutes to give a table topic. But it's lovely to hear everyone speak, everyone contribute, know something different. And that is the peanut butter for me in Toastmasters. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you very much, Jay. Really appreciate that. So Toastmasters is your peanut butter. Love it. Really love it. Now, our next question, which I'm going to share with you, this is for one of the members. Okay, so are you ready? You can use this. Cooking and baking is both physical and mental therapy. What do you use for physical or mental therapy? And this goes to Adrienne.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I do neither. I use neither for mental stability at all. And part of the reason is because I can't bake. I have no oven. I have a toaster oven, but I have no oven. And I never really got into the whole feeling and baking. I like to eat sweets, of course, but I don't use any of those for my mental stability. In fact, I use exercise more or going outside more as my mental stability, especially walking or running. And most of the time, none of that involves peanut butter at all, but that's okay because I still think peanut butter with strawberry jam is palatable. And neither of that helps my mental stability either, unfortunately. Beyond that, I like to also use music and playing my ukulele as part of my mental stability, which really challenges the brain and my ability to just put myself out there. With that, I will turn that back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Adrienne. Mr. Toastmaster, any more table topics? Do we have more time?
Yes, we have about, our general evaluator doesn't need to be up for about 10 minutes or so. So you can continue, or...
How long do I have?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Right. Next question. Give us an example of the time where you made something less palatable to get back at someone. And this goes to, let's have a look, Rainey.
Can I have your question one more time?
Give us an example of a time when you made something less palatable for somebody.
Well, I think it must be.
Sorry, your volume's low.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is it okay? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love cooking, and usually during the weekends, I would invite some of my friends or colleagues to my house, and I would cook to them. And there was one time that I cooked something that is not that palatable, which is chicken. Well, I tried that for the first time, and why I cooked it is because they love it, and they suggested that if I could cook that for them, and if it is delicious, and perhaps they will pay me. And then I just look for the for the steps online, and I try to follow everything online, and then I cooked, but I failed, and it was not that palatable, but they accepted in the end also. And they said that they also showed me that they were very grateful for that, because I cooked for them because they love it. They love that food very much. Back to you, Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Rainey. Now, our next question. What do you like to spread on your bread apart from peanut butter? Could be anything in the world. What do you like to spread on your bread? And this goes to our guest, Sai.
Okay, Toastmasters. I would, if you asked me this question 6 months ago, I would have told cream cheese. Unfortunately, my strict diet has taken me completely away from the things that I love, such as the cream cheese, the jelly, the jam, the butter. Oh, even thinking about them is making my salivate. Unfortunately, all I get to eat nowadays is coffee for my breakfast. No more butter for me. But when I get the chance again, I'm already planning for some wonderful, wonderful, delicious condiments on my bread. It's not going to be peanut butter. It could be cashew butter or almond butter. Unfortunately, I don't like peanut butter. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, or that's my toast. I'm eating with it. Back to the table topics, Master.
Thank you very much, Sai. We are getting through these table topic questions, aren't we, folks? I mean, nobody's hit a minute and a half yet, or 2 minutes, in fact. Wow. Now, Mr. Toastmaster, I still have another couple of questions, I take it. So, our next question is, what was the last meal that you cooked at home? So, what was the last meal you cooked at home? And this one goes to Aaron.
Okay, can you repeat the question because I just went to the restroom?
Okay. What was the last meal you cooked at home?
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and most distinguished guests, the last meal. The word last meal triggers to me the last dinner that I eat in prison. Although I'm not a prisoner, but I'm just treating myself that my home is kind of my prison. The last meal that I truly cooked for myself is just a simple meal of cup noodles and cup noodles. For those of you who do not know what cup noodles symbolize, cup noodles is the perfect delicacy whereby you can save your teeth in the mouth savoring, slimy little piece of thing that will let you survive through midnight because you are preparing for examinations. It reminds me of those days. I want to remember the pain and sorrows that I've actually been to. That makes me truly who I am today with my educational levels. But with that noodles itself, I was thinking about what can I do with it? Any improvements? Any thing that I have learned from my school that I can improvise on the dish? Because after eating 5 years so consecutively with instant noodles, I'm glad that I haven't ended up in the hospital. But the downside or the twist is that what can I do with this? So I listen to different things in this conversation. I love cream cheese, but getting cream cheese into noodles is a no-no because it doesn't sync and collates with the food itself. It's not making it palatable. And the palatable dish that will make it even more palatable, trying to use the word of the day, is that the most delicate bacon. The smoky bacon that adds with the noodles, wow. It enriches the flavor of the soup. It just makes you feel that you can have a good compliments. And finally adding some sort of seaweed to give a crunchy feeling that may last in my mouth for the rest of the day. Obviously, I will add some miso soup instead of just normal water because it's going to make it even worse. By adding miso soup in there, you're adding some flavor. So try this at home. The last meal that will symbolize you of all the life that you've engulfed in the palatable journey of life. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Now, last question. You have just made a peanut butter sandwich. It has gone on a plate intended for one person, but then they've passed it on to your mortal enemy. And you know they're allergic to peanuts. What do you do? This goes to Trisha.
Oh, evilness. Okay. All right. So I'm of two minds with this question. Initially, I was thinking evilly that I could just fail to mention that this sandwich had peanut butter in it. Although, upon any kind of inspection of the sandwich, I think you could pretty much tell it's peanut butter just by looking at it. But no, being a good Christian woman, I would stop my mortal enemy from eating this peanut butter sandwich, which would cause them death. I can't kill someone, even if it wasn't necessarily intentional. If I forgot to tell them that it had peanut butter, it wouldn't be intentional, right? No, it would. It would be lying by default. So I would stop them, and I would explain to them that it had peanut butter in it, and offer them a toasted cheese sandwich or something else that I might have in my refrigerator. It would be hard, I'm not going to lie, but I would not let them consume something that would kill them. Back to you.
Thank you, Tricia. Thank you for that. And Mr. Toastmaster, is that sufficient for your needs today?
Yes, that is good, Mr. Table Topics Master. Thank you.
No problem. Happy to oblige.
Double duty. Good job with the table topics and timing them as well. We've had our prepared. Oh, what? Well, I said good job. You timed them and you timed them as well. So good job.
I was timing them? Okay, good. All right, don't worry.
Okay. Okay, we've had our prepared speeches. We've had our table topics. We have one more segment to go through, and that's our speech evaluations. But before I do that, I have to tell you that it takes 1 acre of peanuts to make 30,000 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Okay, let me bring up our general evaluator this evening, Toastmaster Isabel Kadori.
Well, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the evaluation portion of the meeting. This is the most unique and important part of the meeting. Outside of Toastmasters, we very rarely receive truthful feedback. Oftentimes, we get a whitewash type of reviews, palatable but not so helpful. On the other end, sometimes we may get attacked by harsh criticism. Ouch, that hurts, even if it's factual. Either way, we don't benefit much from it. Toastmasters is a supportive environment. We train our listening skills and practice giving objective and constructive feedback. In this way, we foster growth. We start with evaluations for prepared speeches. Each evaluation is going to be 2 to 3 minutes. Our first evaluator is Erin Liang. Erin will be evaluating Tricia's speech. Please help me welcome Erin.
Thank you very much, though, fellow Toastmasters and most distinguished guests. I'm really happy to be evaluating Tricia on the story, Living My Life Backwards. Objective is very simple, really connecting with a nice story, connects with us, and we feel that we understand the whole story in a very smooth, easy fashion. So, Tricia, I love the topic. You gave us the topic that really links to us, living the life backwards. So we have 3 connective points. 1, life. 2, backwards. And 3, your life itself. When you say living your life backwards, that elements, I'm looking for just 3 components in your story. So your main highlight of the story itself is how you're born and how you relate us with the backwards. It's common. It's really connected to us because we are all born backwards, unless they do it in a different way. But most of us are born backwards. And you relate us with a nice twist of the story that in the speech itself, you give us how you felt your kindergarten and how you see cat as in TAC instead of a CAT. A combination of a few world champions components all in place in one. I see that you have slowly paced it out and we can see your authentic emotions in there. Great job. Give a round of applause for Patricia. So storytelling adds emotions. You have done that really greatly. It also talks about some climax. Climax will be letting us really have the value of that speech, which you did. Now, the two other components that makes a storytelling complete will be, first of all, gestures. A story will not be completed without a visual prop. And the visual prop in this speech itself is literally yourself. So when I say yourself, meaning that I need to see the gestures. I need to see the feelings. You need to show it on your facial expression. I felt my kindergarten. Make it even more dramatic. If you do it in a normal way, then we will not be able to relate closely of, okay, so you failed, so how is it related to me? And you need to show it like, have you ever failed kindergarten? Let us feel that intensity by showing those gestures that accelerate and excel in that feeling itself. The second thing that you might want to work on is the pacing. Sometimes a scary movie, for example, is not as scary without the music. Try that at home. Mute that music itself and watch a scary movie. It's not as scary unless you add those tones and vocal variety. So you did vocal variety in some way, but I want you to stress on that anticipation, that kind of the next thing that I'm going to tell you. Keep it a secret. I'm going to tell you that I spell cat wrongly. So you can actually do it different way whereby the vocal variety can make an anticipation look. Okay, I'm getting my chills. No, I'm not telling you to tell a scary story, but I'm telling you to create those vocal varieties to let us anticipate what is your next step. If you're able to master this point, then you're able to control all mentalities into your direction. So vocal variety and your visual aids will be a definite acceleration point to increase your connectivity with us, to make it more palatable, to make it more, I would say, really engaging with us. So these two tips really helps. I'm looking forward to seeing you doing that in the next storytelling, because storytelling involves every single speech in our Toastmaster journey. So give a round of applause for Trisha for doing a great job. Back to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for your excellent evaluation. That was very detailed, very thorough, and very encouraging. Our second evaluator is Toastmaster Sai. Sai will be evaluating William's speech. Please help me welcome Sai.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to all the Toastmasters all over the world who have joined this meeting today, especially William. Today I am evaluating William's speech titled, Who Are You? And William gave the speech from the storytelling manual. The first project is called The Folk Tale. And in the objective of the manual, the folk tale story, is to tell a folk tale that is entertaining and enjoyable for a specific age group, to use vivid imagery and voice to enhance the tale. Today, William talked about a personal story, very powerful and emotional and touching story about this child who was abused by her mother, I think. And William used powerful phrases to convey the emotion in the story. Some of the phrases that I liked, flourishing like a flower, absorbing the sun. Each and every one of us is special. And William conveyed the emotion in the story through a call of action. Now, this story, can it improve? Considering the intent of the speaker is trying to tell a story and then trying to ask the audience for a call of action. So considering that is the goal of this speech, I have two suggestions for William. The first suggestion is the organization of the story. William went back and forth between the story and call of action, his emotion, and then back to call of action. I would rather hear the story first and his emotion next, and then the call of action. So that would be one suggestion for William. And then the second suggestion, which is not really a suggestion, it's more of a technology suggestion. I would really want to see William's face while I'm hearing the story, because this is a story with a lot of hand gestures and call to action, and I was not able to see William. I only was able to hear him. So half of my visual clues, how he connected with the audience, is not visible here. So in conclusion, William's story was about a call to action and emotional abuse, and William did it excellently with a great vocabulary and powerful emotional appeal. Could have been improved by good organization and a visual presence. Back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you. Great job. I really like the way you give so many excellent suggestions, yet it's a very positive evaluation. And I want to thank you especially for taking this evaluator role in the last minutes. Thank you very much. With that, I would like to call our accountant. Our accountant is Tricia.
Yes, thank you. I thought we did very well tonight. I only caught a very few. Jay, during your table topics, you said twice and so once. And Saeed, while you were doing your evaluation, I caught 3 ahs, 1 and 1 so. And that is pretty much it. I did not catch my own, so if someone wants to supplement my report with that, you're certainly welcome to. Other than that, that is my report.
Thank you, Tricia. Your report is certainly very palatable. Now we're going to call our grammarian. Our grammarian is Rennie Ding. Please come to the stage.
Oh, I think today everyone is really cooperative. Like many people use the word palatable very much, like Nick, Aaron, Isabel, and some others. I didn't write them all down. And I really thank Nick for incorporating the word in your questions, and many people are using it. And also for the language, I love Tricia's speech very much, and you've used many positive phrases in your speech, like turn around, face forward, and reach out, and so on. I think I can use them into my speech next time. And for William, I think you have a very strong usage of sentences. You have used a very different a series of sentences with similar like organization. Like, will you something in a time of need? Like there is like several sentences in a row, and I really love that. And second, I think you are repeating some of the words, like when you're talking about the child who is shouting, crying for help. You talked about the word help me in 3 times. I think that's a kind of way to let people to resonate with the child and to feel his desperation at the time. And I really love your usage of words and sentences. So back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rennie. That was an excellent report, and I really like your pick up the word of the day. That was a very popular word today. Next, I would like to call our body language monitor. Is our body language monitor William?
Yes, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. The body language report. Everybody had great gestures. The only person that needs to work on their gestures is me. If I can get my camera to work, I will do better next time. That's my report to you, Madam General Evaluator. Back to you.
Well, thank you, William. You said what I want to say. Well, hope we will see you next time with a fully functioning video. Next, I would like to call our chat monitor. Our chat monitor is Adrian. Adrian, please.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Our chat room was a little bit quiet tonight, but there was a few questions that were promptly answered. Other than that, it was a great place to provide good comments, and I think our next meeting hopefully will utilize the chat a little bit more. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Adrian. And I know you also took up this role in the last minute. That was very helpful. In the last, I would call the timers report, and our timer is Nick. Nick.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Would you like me to? I've already passed on the times. Would you like me to read them out?
Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
please.
The prepared speeches, Tricia was 6 minutes 56. William is 6 minutes 38. So they both qualify for the voting tonight. Table topics, Natani, a very, very good 1 minute 35 seconds. Jay, 1 minute 40. Adrienne, 1 minute 21. Rainey, 1 minute. Sai, 1 minute 9 seconds. And Aaron, 2 minutes and 20. And finally, Tricia, 1 minute and 14 seconds. And in terms of the evaluators, Aaron was on 3 minutes and 21, and Sai was 3 minutes and 20. Everybody qualifies for every contest tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for your detailed timers report. If you already put on a chat, I missed it. So it was very helpful for me to understand the timing today. And also, I want to thank you, Nick, for hosting the table topic session. That was a very, very warm and parable session. And I'm so impressed with your multitasking skills, and because you were doing double duty and doing the table topics and timing the speakers as well. That was so amazing. And I would like to also thank our Toastmaster of the day, Matt. You did an excellent job, and I also want to thank you for putting the name of facilitator on the chat. That was very helpful. And you were very skilled in handling the unexpected glitch during the prepared speeches. Today, I guess, I don't know why today we're getting kind of a little bit less participation than normal, but we have so many volunteers to take up the roles, and that makes this meeting successful. Thank you for your contribution, and I'm turning the meeting back to our president, Aaron.
Very much now, Isabel, for your jury evaluations. Now, the time comes by for our polls, and hopefully Tricia has solved the problem. Where's Tricia? I saw it. Has Tricia solved the problem? Give me a hit note if you know you haven't solved it. So if that's the case, then we are going to do a poll. Send the votes to, we always vote for our best speakers, best table topics, and also to our best evaluators. So if you're going to send your polls, please send it to Tricia. All your votes will be anonymous for us to see. I mean, basically, I can't say it, to vote for your best selection of choices. You can also vote for yourself. Usually we don't. I mean, like, I never vote for myself, so I always vote for others. So go for it, and always help people to really recognize their voice, their talents in there. Every vote counts. So send it privately to our Tricia. In the meantime, while waiting,
question, how do you do the voting? Is it through just chat, or is it a poll?
Private chat room, send privately to Tricia, our SAA. Usually we do an electronic poll, but it doesn't work today, so we are going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay, sounds good.
So in the meantime, for the committee members after the meeting, we are going to stay for 15 minutes because we missed out the early morning one. All the members can stay for it as well. In the meantime, does Matt have another peanut fact? I'm looking forward to the peanut fact. It really helps the meeting today.
Some people have a phobia of getting peanut butter stuck to the roof of their mouth. I can't pronounce the name of the phobia, but there's a phobia for that, like there is for everything in life.
Peanut butter phobia. Okay.
Yes.
That's new. I would love to say my sincere thanks to Matt, definitely, because Matt has actually brought a new twist to our meeting by adding those facts. Fun facts. I think this can be incorporated in the future meetings if you guys have any better ideas on that. That is actually pretty good. The only thing that I really miss out today, I simply just miss out, is that peanut butter, when you're eating with food, there's always lovely music. And when we think about music, we only think about one person in our meeting. And that's Adrian. Because Adrian always plays the ukulele. And then we remember that music, like while waiting, you can play that music, that kind of thing. I miss that.
Oh, so you're saying that I should be playing that now?
I'm kind of implying next time. Not now.
Okay.
Actually, he means now, and you should be making
next
peanut butter
time.
sandwiches for everybody. That's what the president is saying, right, Mr. President?
Yeah, might be. So in the meantime, while waiting, I think if Trisha, if you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. So, you ready? Okay, great. So I will let Trisha to announce. Give a round of applause to Trisha to announce the winners for the day. Yay!
Thank you so much. For our favorite speaker for this evening, myself. Yay! Thank you very much, everyone. And we have a four-way tie with table topics. So our four winners are Jay, Aaron, Adrian, and Isabel. Yay! And then it was almost a tie for our evaluators, but Sai won by a vote. So yay, Sai. Thank you again for being a guest evaluator for our meeting tonight. I'll now turn the meeting back over to our dear President Aaron.
Thank you very much, though. And finally, other than those three awards, we always do our traditional presidential award that we usually give to recognize any of our members. In today's meeting, I really want to thank someone. This person actually won once in the President's Citation Award by me, and he's going to win the second time again. It's a he. So this actually goes to two he's. So if you notice in this group right now, there's only how many guys there? So yeah, the first one that I want to thank, I'll really give the award to is Matt. Really give a round of applause to Matt. I will explain the reason why after the clapping. It's because Matt actually, you can see through his comfort zones, he actually stepped out now. From the start, when I first saw him, he's much more reserved. Maybe because he says, "Don't touch me anymore because I got my DTM." But now he actually stepped out even more by taking up a nice role, and moreover, you can see Matt actually reached a connection with us, and he's even more comfortable on the visual side. So for that improvement. That deserves my recognition as well. Give a round of applause for Matt. Keep it up. Next, I would like to thank the next person who will win the President's Citation by me. That will be Nick. Give a round of applause for Nick first. Nick has been very helpful in terms of guiding through all our members and mentoring and also coaching as well. He's always a positive vibe. He only has one weakness, and that is staying up very late at night. Although if that is a challenge, please just turn 1 hour beforehand, or maybe just tell your employer, wake me up 1 hour later, because you are an important access to our club as well. So in terms of that and his capabilities and his patience and the attributes that a Toastmaster do have, give a round of applause for me. Yep, and for that, our VP is not here. Usually is. I will let what Tricia would like to do it, the roles for next week.
Sure, I
Thank
can
you,
do that.
Tricia.
Just pulling it up here, and I'll share my
worries.
screen. And so this will be for our April 2nd meeting. So currently, it looks like Sunny will be our Toastmaster today with an inspirational note from Isabel. We could use an odd counter, grammarian, body language monitor, chat monitor, and a timer. Looks like we have room for another speaker as well as a backup speaker. So if you have a speech that you like to work on, plug yourself in or let myself or Sunny know, and we can put you in there for next week. And it looks like Isabel also going to take care of our topics for us, and I will be general evaluator. So we could use one more regular speech evaluator as well. So that's the roles that we need for next week. You can either let me know now before the end of the meeting, or email myself, Sunny, or any of the other officers, and or you can sign up yourselves. But if you're having kind of any issue, you can always let us know. We'll be happy to plug you in. Back to you.
Thank you very much, though. And finally, before we end the meeting, we always have the guest feedback session, because everyone's important comments is valuable to us. So I would like to hear from Natini on how you find about the meeting today.
Hey, thanks everyone. That was great. Thanks for giving me the introduction to this online experience. It was excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot. So thanks. I hope to come back again next week.
Looking forward to that. If you need some follow-up, we have our VPM Adrian at the corner there. Talk with her, and then basically she'll follow up with you. Sure, I'll for that. And next, we have Sai. Your thoughts for today?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Aaron. I think it was a really enjoyable meeting. I was really amazed at how connected all of you are, in spite of the continental and geographical, differences. You all seem to be connected, and I can see the camaraderie in the meeting. I especially liked the fact in the beginning of the meeting, you guys explained how to use the program correctly. Many times, people who don't know how to use a program, they don't know what to do correctly, and it was really nice to hear that. And I liked the humor of the meeting, how thorough the speeches and evaluations were, and also the overall spirit of the group. I really enjoyed the meeting. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much, though. Give a round of applause for your excellent evaluation.